Hello and welcome to another Demon 212 PS Mini review. It's been a long time since I've done one of these, mainly because, to be honest, not much great came out, and the good things that have come out I've forgot about and it's been pushed to the back burner. But now that I've got a PS Vita and I do this style of recording for handheld games, it's going to be easier to do them, so I might as well start with, well, one of the best minis to come out in years, if not the best mini to come out in years. Today, it's basically I'm going to be taking a look at a game called Velocity, and Velocity is a bit of an odd one because at first glance it looks like a shoot 'em up, a shmup, but it's actually very heavily influenced with puzzle player, and it's therefore a shmup puzzler hybrid, which is perfect for me because I absolutely love both genres. But I suppose the best thing to do is actually show it as I explain it. So, you can go to play, you can go to options, you can go to flight computer, you can go to credits. Credits is credits. Options quite simply shows the game volume. The credits at least is pretty cool. I should mention it because you actually get to fly around and blow up the names, which is quite cool. Your flight computer is where you go to view a load of things, including a calculator, which don't know why it's there, if I'm honest. It's just there. You can view art, you can view your comms, so you can view your mission briefing and your incoming messages. You can view your trophies, and it annoys me that I have to even mention this, but no, they're not trophies for the PSN, they're trophies for the in-game trophies, and there's a hell of a lot of them, and as you can see, I don't have very many because I'm not very good at the game. It's one of those games that you do have to play a lot and get better at, and it's good enough to want to do that. I definitely want to get better and be able to do everything. You can then view your enemies over here, which there are enemies on the game, but not every mission has enemies. The starter ones, for example, are just about rescuing people and getting to the end in the fastest time possible. You can go into your missions, which there's 20 bonus missions to unlock to go with the 50 levels on the game, so that's 70 levels overall, including the bonus missions, and that's a hell of a lot of gameplay. And you can also play Minesweeper, which, just like the calculator, I don't know why it's there. I suppose it's cool that it's there. Some people might play it, some people might use it, same with the calculator, but anyway, that's probably the best I've ever done on a game of Minesweeper, with just randomly button pushing. Anyway, so I suppose let's go into the actual playing of the game, which I'll start on mission 1 simply to show you what I mean by not every mission has enemies, and that's not the whole gist of the game. The whole point of the game is you fly around, you can attack, you can speed up holding the R button, and speed up is something that you're going to be wanting to do because the whole point is you have to beat the level in a certain time for a gold medal, and then you get ranked gold medals, so you can get 2 stripes, 3 stripe, I think 1 stripe, I'm not so sure. This is going to come off as bragging when I really don't mean it to. I've not actually received lower than a 2 stripe gold on a mission so far. So anyway, you also have to collect these little boy things, which are survivors in pods, and it tells you the number, how many of them you've got and how many of them are left to get on the mission. You've got that in the bottom left corner, which is for when you get alternate weapons, but I don't have one at the moment, so I can't exactly show anything. Top left shows you your lives and shows you your time, top right shows you your score. But anyway, you hold down the R button to speed up, and as I say, you're going to want to speed up because it's how you beat the level quickly and it's how you get the medals. You can hold X down to shoot, and you can also hold square down and it brings up a reticule. Now, you may be wondering what this does. Some sort of fancy weapon? Some sort of aiming, homing on missile or anything? No, it's a teleporter. And this is where the game turns into a kind of a puzzle thing, because the whole point is you have to fly around, you can crash into anything as much as you want, unless you're at the very bottom of the screen, then you get crushed, and you have to avoid enemies and shoot them and obviously blow them up. You have to avoid walls, you have to collect every survivor, you have to rush through the level as fast as you can, whilst teleporting through loads of different rooms, which I am going to put on one that probably shows off best, but I think I'm nearly at the end of this mission, so I might as well fly through it. And you just have to do that over and over again throughout the levels and try and get the best score possible to unlock the bonus missions. It's a simple premise in theory. When you play it, it's not simple, and it's very hectic, and it's really cool, and the game's basically as hard as you make it, because if you want to just breeze through the levels going slow and not going for the best times and best score and everything, then you're going to find it pretty easy. But if you actually try for those things, then the game becomes rock hard, and that's pretty much the perfect mark of any game in my book, that it can be rock hard if you let it. It doesn't force you into playing an easy way of the game. It's, for example, not on the Wii. There's also med packs I forgot to mention. I'll just mention that there simply because I've got them. And this is what I mean by using the teleporter and that, and kind of like solving puzzles almost, because you've got to find the right route. I could have went further right and got a weapon, but I'd stupidly held the right trigger, I suppose it's a trigger on a Vita, anyway, the right button, too much in, so I'd already missed that. So that's where it becomes a case of balance of speed against actually being good. You don't want to rush too fast to get to the end only to realise you've messed up. It's I believe the saying is less haste, more speed, or less speed, more haste, or something like that. It's one of those two. Either way, it's just going to be you rushing around trying to work out the best plan of action, where to go next. There's secrets around the place. There's some that obviously give you the weapons there, some that hold more survivors and that, so you've just got to jump around whilst also paying close attention to your enemies, paying close attention to the walls that are about to crush you. It's a mental game that really does require a lot of concentration, and I'm amazed that I'm actually able to do as well as I'm doing, even though that's very badly, simply because I'm obviously looking at an angle and talking about the game. As you might have noticed, there's also like objectives almost on the game. It's you can't go through certain things, so you've got to find the way through them. So for example, when it's a yellow bar, you can't go through it, you have to destroy the yellow bar. Or for this one here, there was red there, I destroyed the red switch, I could now go into that area and continue on through the level. It's just an excellently simple game that's very deep and complex when you try to play it, and when everything gets added together, it's one of those perfect examples of less is more, because by shoehorning you into so many few things to do with just repeating it over and over again, it manages to make it a very complex game that gets harder and harder and harder, and it's the perfect old school title despite it being a new release. It really is a fantastic game. It's the type of thing that, for the price, you should definitely be checking it out. And if you've got PlayStation Plus, you should definitely be checking it out, as it's been free to you. I really hope that Sony, I don't know how this works with the PSN and when games are free on the PS Plus. I imagine Sony pays the developer, and I really hope they paid them enough for this, because it's a fantastic game, and I'm pretty sure it's been made by just 2 people. It's one of those things. I always promote indie devs and try and say you've got to support the indie devs because they are the future, and I strongly believe that. While you've got developers out there trying to screw gamers left, right and centre with online and offline passes, believe it or not, if you haven't heard, there are some passes that do exist for offline content. Rage and Arkham City come straight to mind. While there's developers out there doing tons of on-disc DLC that they'll then charge you a fortune for, when technically you already own them because they're on the disc, there's developers like this, indie devs, who just sit down, make an excellent game just for the hell of it, almost as if to say, right, we're gamers as well, we like games, so we're going to make a game for gamers. We're not going to have any, hidden fees or anything. We're not going to have anything in the way of trying to be deceptive. We're just going to make an excellent game, and we really hope you enjoy it. And that's why I think you need to support the indie devs, because it will get to the point where I can imagine myself only buying indie dev games. Anyway, mini rant about the state that the industry's in at the moment over. Back to talking about what I was talking about, which is quite frankly that this is just an absolutely fantastic game. Considering it's called a mini, it's huge. As I've already said, there's 50 levels plus 20 bonus levels. It's not the sort of game you're going to see in a night. It's the sort of game that you're going to have to dedicate days, months, weeks to, even days, weeks, months to. It's just one of those, there's just so much to do, and you're going to want to do it because it's incredibly simple but incredibly complex at the same time. The controls and everything work perfectly. I've never had a moment on the game yet where I've thought, why did they have to make it like that? Why couldn't they have just done this, that or the other, and it would have made it so much better? Instead, I've thought, yeah, these controls are actually tight, they're responsive, they work, and it's just a fantastic game. Graphically, it looks amazing. Music-wise, it's a shame I can't let you listen to it because it's fantastic. And gameplay-wise, a scene like that is exactly what I was saying, that it can be like a puzzle because you've got to work out how to advance and go through the level. It really is a fantastic little game from a fantastic little dev, and I really hope we see more content coming from this dev because I'm already in love with them after this one game. So there we go then. that's been the review. I hope you found it helpful. I don't score the games because that's based purely on opinion, so instead I'll leave you to make your own mind up. So thanks for watching, and if you've got any questions about the game that I didn't answer in the vid or that hasn't been answered in the comments, then feel free to ask and I'll help if I can. Also, if you did find it helpful, don't forget to check out my channel because there's plenty more like this up there, and don't forget to subscribe because there'll be plenty more to come as well. So until next time, this has been Demon212, signing off.